Hello, class. Today we'll be talking about emergence and relativity. According to Hauser, emergence refers to the meaning of an event across time. Events often occur in chronological order. On the other hand, Hauser states that relativity refers to the meaning of an event based on the perspective of the individual. It indicates the absence of a static standpoint, also known as a stationary standpoint. The meaning of an event will depend on an individual's perspective. From Hauser, we learn that emergence and relativity both deal with aspects of time. The concept of time is multidimensional, since there are so many doors the discussion of time can open up. Yet, Hauser relies solely on order and perspective of which time occurs. I believe that this insight shows readers that Hauser bases his life on facts. Now let us move on to another perspective of emergence and relativity. Aristotle views emergence through the concept that time is based on the stage of life in which the person is in. However, these stages of life are opposite of Hauser's. Aristotle views emergence from old age to young age. He believes that through this lens, the viewer can reflect on their experiences as key to understanding the meanings of the events that they have witnessed. Additionally, Aristotle believes that distrust comes from experience and that, quote, they live in memory more than in hope. For what is left of life is short. Hope is for the future. Memory for what is gone. End quote. 1390a. In this quote, I believe that Aristotle is addressing the fact that emergence can be discussed as an experience in life in which memory is key. If someone does not have a memory of an event, it must not have been that crucial in their development. Now that we have discussed Aristotle's view on emergence, we can discuss his view on relativity. Aristotle states, quote, I call specific the written law under which people live in a polis and common whatever, though unwritten, seems to be agreed to among all. End quote. 1368b. In this quote, I believe that Aristotle looks to address relativity as an aspect of time in reference to perspective. He states that the written law is what people live under, while unwritten law is agreed upon. This aspect shows that Aristotle views relativity as a perspective, since everyone seems to agree on unspoken law as the law for all. After discussing the perspectives of Hauser and Aristotle on the topics of emergence and relativity, we can discuss the findings of an academic rhetorician. Robert J. Epstein wrote, quote, truth is the correspondence of a statement about an object with the object itself. Existence and of itself is neither true nor false. Our only statements about our perspective of existence can be true or false, for we have the choice of reporting observations or inventing them. End quote, page 222. Here, Epstein shows readers that he relies more on the concept of relativity than emergence. This is because he explains that truth is with the object, and in that truth, it is our observations that we can create what has happened and not. Epstein's thought process would align more with Aristotle's because both rhetoricians rely on the truth of an event. Through unwritten and written laws, the truth can be understood, while the truth of what has occurred in front of the viewer is what exists in our minds. One truth that lies before our current society is the effects COVID-19 has had. COVID-19 has changed how we go about our daily lives and has affected the world and how it operates. It is a prime, real-world example that can address the concept of emergence and relativity. The pandemic brought new challenges that many Americans have not ever had to deal with. People disagreed on how to deal with it based on their perspective. This is because every person has had different experiences for this life-altering event. For example, the beginning of the pandemic was filled with unrest and uncertainty of what the future might hold. Now we are able to view the progress we have made in a more positive light. This idea aligns with the concept of emergence. Our society has looked at the events as they have unfolded across a chronological time pattern. Now that each perspective has been altered by the events of the pandemic, the relativity of the example can be discussed. One of the first things COVID-19 caused was the division of our society. Some people racistly named COVID-19 the, quote, Chinese virus, because they heard and believed that the virus came from China. Before any factual evidence was given, groups of people bandwagoned onto the idea, which caused mass hysteria. Another affected viewpoint from this pandemic is that some people believe it to not be real. This viewpoint correlates with relativity because the perspective of an individual is once again put into question. On the other side of the spectrum, other people are urging the unvaccinated to get vaccinated so they can end the pandemic. Each perspective gives way to the concept of relativity and shows us that each person's perspective influences what occurs throughout our society. Today we have learned about concepts of emergence and relativity through Hauser, Aristotle, and Epstein. We have come to understand that emergence deals with in chronological time, while relativity deals with meanings based on the perspective of an individual. Thank you for your time.